Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am the Desert Claw. Before we get into this week's chapter, smash the like button and subscribe for more content. Subscribing is free and really helps the growth of the channel. And for you anime-only viewers, if you do not want to be spoiled, you may want to turn away. Okay, so this chapter this week is a flashback chapter. So the first reveal is Ogun's still alive, and he's still getting his ass handed to him by Charon pretty heavily, actually. There's a cool moment where Charon's calling out someone to come after him again, and you kind of see Arthur nudge up, and he holds Excalibur, and then you see Ogun arise behind him and say, "Nope, you gotta stay behind and be prepped for Dragon." And then the fight continues for a couple panels. Poor Ogun is just not doing very well, and he starts to doubt himself. And then we get a flashback to when all the boys are in school. Company 4, I think, is the school that they were all at. I'm not really sure on that. I'm pretty sure that's what it's, Company 4. And we see how Ogun, Arthur, and Shinra all become friends. It focuses on everybody introducing themselves to the school, and Shinra introducing himself to want to be a Fire Force soldier and a hero, and then Arthur being a knight. And the one thing that you notice, I don't know if this is official in the manga. It might have been the trivia on the wiki page, but in the trivia page for Arthur, it says that he's really popular with the ladies. And they actually back that up here in this chapter. He's actually kind of a ladies' man. And I swear to God, I only knew that because I read the trivia. I don't know if that's really ever been really indicated in the manga. But yeah, so he's a ladies' man, and Shinra kind of jabs him a little bit, like, okay, someone's popular. And we see the origin of the three boys becoming friends. And then we also see other people starting the rumors about Shinra being a devil. And, you know, on the surface, you can be like, oh, it's just kids starting rumors, stuff like that. But who originated the rumor? Where did it come from? It might not be anything, but, you know, we spent, I think, at least 3 to 4 chapters going into Shinra's history, and we know his grandmother thinks he's a devil just because of how he was conceived. We know that there were only a certain amount of people at the house when the event happened. So, and we know that the evangelist wanted this perception of Shinra to be real for their master plan. So what happened was if you're behind on chapters, you remember that Shinra beat Raffles in front of an audience on national TV, and the image of that caused everyone to flip out. Everyone that wasn't present, like everybody that was present at the fight, saw Shinra as a hero. Everybody at home watching on TV thought he was a villain, and that's been set up from the start to be the theme of what's happening. So in this chapter, you see the start of that rumor, and I want to know who and where this started, because it's clearly been engineered. It could have just been like, because I believe the timeline that Shinra was actually at Hajime being tested as an Aldola burst before he went to Company 4, I believe, for the academy. So I hope we get some explanation of where the origin of the rumor come from. But Ogun hears the rumor and can kind of, not really confronts, but just kind of nonchalantly asks Shinra about it. And Shinra says, no, I didn't kill my mother. And he believes him, and he kind of jokes with him and says, hey, but you got to get rid of that smile. That smile is not, it's got to go. And, you know, Shinra says, he basically acknowledges that he has this problem. And so you kind of see the other students that look up to Ogun are starting to, like, they're uncomfortable with him hanging out with Shinra because they believe in the rumors and the lies and stuff like that. Arthur is just too dim-witted to care. Like, he's just a knight. That's all he cares about. It doesn't matter to him what other people think, clearly. So he hangs out with Shinra anyway. And you get this, they have this kind of like brotherly bond, and no one's really going to stop that. And, you know, it's interesting that Ogun wasn't in Company A, even though in the last chapter they said they wanted Ogun in the team. And I'm wondering, like, What's to stop them? Is there a budgetary issue? Or maybe Ogun just likes Company 4. I don't know. But the chapter ends with Arthur and Shinra fighting once again about heroes and knights. And so we're going to get another flashback chapter. And I think there's a reason for this. One, it's a look into the past of Ogun, but I think it's also going to touch on the origin of the perception issue. Fire Force is very much focused on perception. Arthur's perception of himself as a knight makes him more powerful. The world's perception of people creates doppelgangers. The world's perception of Shinra created a villain, and so on and so forth. And so maybe Ogun's perception of himself as a bulwark, like a strong individual that to protect people because his ancestor did, and because he stood up for his friends in the past, and he was this upstanding guy, and he got the best rank scores, I believe, in the initiation test. His perception of himself is going to be crucial in his victory over Charon. So Charon's wasting him right now, and for a moment there, he starts to doubt himself. Like, how am I going to win this? Like, he gets back up, he fights, but I think Charon, being in the White Clad, knowing about the collective unconscious, knowing about keeping your state of mind pure, he knows that and has the upper hand, so he's also trying to demoralize his opponent. And so the reason why Ogun needs to go back into the past in his mind is to reinforce his image, his perception of himself as this bulwark to try to get him back in the game. I kind of think that's what they're going at. Plus, I think we're going to get a couple long-standing questions might be answered from this. And one of them for me, ever since we saw the first chapter with Madi and the weird doctor and her mother and all those other things, like there's a ton of stuff from that chapter that's still unanswered. Like, I still think we're going to see Shinra's grandmother and she's going to be connected to the church or something. I don't know. I can't really explain like how the connection will be, but I think there'll be a connection. And then we're going to see the rumor. Maybe she's the one that started the rumor because, Shinra is basically a child of the state at this point. And maybe she showed up to protest at Company 4 that her grandchild was the devil and he shouldn't be in the Fire Force and blah, blah, blah. And then some kids overheard. I don't know. This is just stuff that's coming off the top of my head I'm thinking about. So, yeah. We'll have to wait till next week to see. It could be nothing about that. It could just be Ogun reinforcing his perception of himself, making him stronger, and making him a bulwark against Charon, and then Charon goes down, or he joins the party. So we'll have to wait till next week to see what happens, but that's this week's chapter. Good chapter, very informational. Not a lot of action, but that's not all Fire Force is about. So if you like the video, click the like button, subscribe for more content. Once again, I am the Desert Claw, and I hope you all have a good one.